So in this video, we're going to go over the top 10 best weapons that are currently inside Warzone. Now, Season 3 has thrown a spanner in the works because they've actually done some really good weapon balancing when it comes to fixing some of the OP weapons and buffing some of the not so good weapons inside Warzone. If you enjoy weapon stat breakdowns, weapon comparisons, and overall tips and tricks for Warzone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. And also click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel. We do make extra content over there and we're close to reaching 100 subscribers, so we appreciate that. But now, after some in-game playtime, trying out various different weapons, we've now got a top 10 list that you can use and mix and match weapons from. But on top of that, Raven Software have tweeted out that they're keeping an eye on the AMAX, so definitely just keep that in mind when you're going through this list. Kicking it off at number 10, we have the PPSH. Now, I did put this in my top 5 loadouts video, and that's because the gun felt so good inside Warzone, and I have no idea why it does. But as you can see, I've put a lot of playtime with this gun, that's why I've got it in gold. And the only other gun I have in gold is the FARA from the Cold War weapons. So as you can tell, I really do like using this gun. But like I said, when it comes to the stats and stuff, I understand it's not the fastest TTK. It doesn't have like the best recoil, but for some reason, this gun just feels super good in Warzone, and that's why I do enjoy using it. But in terms of the class setup, I'll show you what I've been using. I've seen other players use something different, but this works perfectly fine for me. So I use the GRU suppressor, so you get the sound suppression, recoil control, bullet velocity, and damage range. Then I use the foregrip. Now, you don't want to use any of the last couple of grips because it does still hurt your movement speed. And one of the good things about this gun is the movement speed, so you don't want to hurt that whatsoever. Then you want to use the 71 round drum. Now, this doesn't really hurt your ADS all that much, and the reload time is exactly the same as the 55 round drum. Then for the rear grip, you want to use the Serpent Wrap because this is going to give you a faster ADS time, and it doesn't give you very many other cons besides a sprint to fire time con. Then for the last attachment, you want to use the PKM stock, and that's going to give you the super fast strafe speed that you're looking for. And this is one of the best attachments for the PPSH. And this is one of my favorite SMGs in the game. I have no idea why, but it just feels so good in the game. And I've seen a lot of people use the Task Force barrel and stuff like that. But to be completely honest, you don't need the extra strafe speed. Especially if you're only going to use this at close range, and you do get a decent bullet velocity bonus just from the GRU suppressor alone. So if you're using it for close range only, this is a great SMG in my opinion. Next, we're moving on to some of the best sniper rifles inside Warzone, and on this list we have the best long-range sniper. As we all know, the Tundra has the best bullet velocity when it comes to sniper rifles in Warzone, and that is why it has to be on this list. So if you're looking for a sniper rifle, then this has got to be one of the best options in the game. You want to use the wrap suppressor, of course, to give you sound suppression, bullet velocity, and recoil control, and it also boosts out your damage range as well, which is super important. Then for the barrel, the combat recon has always been the best for the Cold War sniper rifle, so you want to use that combat recon barrel for the fastest bullet velocity. On this blueprint, it does look a bit weird. The rest of the blueprint looks cool, but this combat recon barrel just looks ugly as hell. Then for ammunition, you want to use the 7-round mags or the fast mags. It's just personal preference here. Then the rear grip, you definitely want to use that Serpent Wrap for a faster ADS time. That is going to be really, really important when it comes to sniping, because you want to make sure you can aim down sights as quick as possible. And then for the optic, I've seen a lot of people use the Royal and Cross 4x optic. Personally, I would go for the axial arms, but both work really, really well. And that is the best long-range Tundra sniper. At number 8, we have what's in my opinion the best sniper rifle in the entire game, which is the Kar98. This has like super quick movement speeds, super fast aim down sight speeds. It's just a great gun overall. I know it's not a sniper rifle and it's a marksman rifle technically, but everyone uses it as a sniper. So for the muzzle, you want to use that mono suppressor for the sound suppression and the damage range. You do want to use the 27.6-inch barrel, tac laser. Optic, you want to use a sniper scope. Don't use the variable zoom scope anymore. It does have sniper glint on the gun now. And then lastly, I use the precision comb. You could use the sport comb as well if you want a faster ADS time, but I like having the extra stability, and that is the best build for the Kar98 for sure. At number 7, we have another long-range rifle, and even though it did get a nerf, the M16 is still extremely viable inside Warzone if you use the correct class setup and if you use it the right way. Now, in terms of the class setup, we'll go over that first. So you want to use the agency silencer for the sound suppression, recoil control, bullet velocity, and damage range. Then you want to use the task force barrel this time round. Instead of getting the faster fire rate, which is not that fast anymore, you actually want to extend out the damage range you already have as far as possible, and the task force barrel is going to help you do that. It also gives you bullet velocity as well, which is handy. Then for the optic, the axial arms is the best, but you can choose whatever you think is your personal preference. Then you want to use the 45 round mags, and lastly the field agent foregrip. And this is the new best build for the M16. Now, the M16 could be a really good sniper replacement. If you're not very good with sniper rifles, definitely give this gun a go. One thing you need to keep in mind is that it doesn't have as fast as a fire rate as it had before, so you can't really use this at close to medium range like you would before the Season 3 update. But now, this is more of a long to medium range rifle. At number 6, we have a gun for all the shotgun lovers out there, and we have the Gallo 12 shotgun. Now, everyone was talking about this in Season 2, this is going to be the FFAR1 replacement, all that kind of stuff, and then everyone seemed to have forgotten about it within Season 3, and it's not really taken any nerfs or anything like that. It's still as good as it always was. The only issue with this gun is that it does reload pretty slow, and that's the only problem, but other than that, it's a fantastic gun. So for the muzzle, you want to use the agency choke. It's going to give you sound suppression, recoil control, bullet velocity, and damage range. You want to use a reinforced heavy barrel for the faster fire rate, and that will in turn reduce your time to kill. Then for the stock, you want to use the no stock attachment. This is the best to give you the best sprint to fire times. Then for ammunition, you want to use the 12 round mags just because it's the largest magazine attachment available, obviously. And then lastly, you want to use the 5mm laser because the ember sighting point is more visible to enemies. The 5mm laser is still not visible. So this is the best shotgun inside Warzone right now. This blueprint does look pretty cool, which is actually in the battle pass. And on top of that, I do think it's one of the best close range weapons in the game as well. At number 5, we now have the LC10. Now, this is a gun that I'm not really a huge fan of, but I've seen people do extremely well with it. And we have people like Vicstar who are great at playing Warzone use this gun, and for good reason, is because it has an amazing headshot multiplier. If you can land headshots with this gun, which is really easy to do, then you're going to get a super fast time to kill as well, and you won't really be missing any shots with this gun. So for the class setup, you want to use the agency suppressor. You then want to use the task force barrel for the faster strafe speed and the faster bullet velocity and the damage range. Then for the stock, you actually want to use the SAS combat stock. Now, it does look a bit ugly attaching it to this blueprint, but hey, that's how it goes. And this is going to give you the faster strafe speed, the faster firing movement speed, and a faster aim walking movement speed, which is all of the benefits of what you want in an SMG. Then for ammunition, you want to use the Stanag 55 round mags. You don't want to go with the salvo mags because it hurts your ADS way too much. And then lastly, I would go with the Serpent Wrap for the faster ADS time, but you could swap that out for a 5mm laser or an under barrel attachment if you can't control the recoil, but the recoil in this gun is pretty much non-existent anyway. At number 4, we have the FARA. Now, the FARA is not one of my favorite guns, and it's never been one of my favorite guns, and even though it's pretty decent inside Season 3, I still don't think it's that good in my opinion. But I've seen a lot of pro players use this as their secondary gun, and the reason for it is because it has really good mobility for an assault rifle. And if you can recall back to Season 2, if you haven't forgotten already, that is what the FFAR1 had as its main benefit when it comes to using it as a secondary weapon, was its mobility and obviously its time to kill as well. But you are getting that assault rifle damage with the FARA as well, so that is why a lot of people do like using this gun. But in my opinion, there are better options. But in terms of the class setup, what you want to use is the GRU suppressor for the sound suppression, recoil control, bullet velocity, and damage range. You want to skip over the barrel. I've seen some people use the ultralight for the faster strafe speed, but in my opinion, the recoil, even though they did reduce the recoil on this gun, I still think you need to be able to control it with the Spetsnaz grip because it's kind of a weird recoil pattern to control. Then for ammunition, you want to go for the 50 round mags. It's just the best magazine attachment, and if you have this blueprint, then it makes the gun look a little bit better too. Then for the rear grip, you want to use the Serpent Wrap, again for the faster ADS time. And then lastly, for the stock, you want to use that skeletal stock for the fastest strafing speeds possible. But like I said, if you want to change this build and make it like really quick, you could take off the Spetsnaz grip and add on the ultralight. At number 3, we have the best, and when I say the best, I mean the best, close range weapon inside Warzone at the moment. Now, if you don't believe me, give this gun a go. It's got a super fast time to kill. It's got an amazingly good headshot multiplier. And not only that, it's just got so many other benefits to this gun right now. And in terms of the class setup, I'll show you what my favorite class setup is first. And then other pro players are using a different build, which I'll show you in just a moment. But for my favorite build, I would go with the GRU suppressor. You get all the benefits of the sound suppression, recoil control, damage range, all that kind of stuff. Then you want to use the bruiser grip for the faster movement speed, which you can notice with the Bullfrog, as well as hipfire accuracy, which you'll need for the following attachments. Then for ammunition, I don't know why no one uses this attachment. It's literally like one of the best attachments for the Bullfrog, and one of the main reasons to use this gun is an 85 round mag, and people are not using this magazine attachment. That is just weird, but I use the 85 round mag because I'm one of the cool kids. Then for the rear grip, you want to use the Serpent Wrap for the faster ADS speeds. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then lastly, the skeletal stock for a faster sprint to fire time and those strafing speeds as well. And that is what I think is the absolute best Bullfrog build, and I have no idea why no one else is using this build right now. This is what I've seen a lot of people use is they don't use the ammunition attachment because they're weird. I don't think they use the underbarrel attachment either. They do use the task force barrel, which I understand a little bit. If you're using this gun as sniper support, then this would be a great attachment. You get slightly faster strafe speed, and you also get the bullet velocity and damage range. But if you're going to pair it with an assault rifle, use my build. But you can use the task force, then they go with the Spetsnaz grip. And this is the way you could build it if you're going to run this gun as sniper support, and this is going to kind of be your main weapon. At number 2, we have a gun that I believe is going to be the meta assault rifle inside Warzone. We've already made a video comparing the stats on this to guns like the Grau. If you want to check out that video, it'll be linked at the end of this one. But I do think once the AMAX gets a nerf, this will be the meta assault rifle inside Warzone. And if you want to know what the class setup is for this, so you can start leveling it up straight away, then you want the agency suppressor for the sound suppression, recoil control, bullet velocity, and damage range. You then want to use the Ranger barrel for the fastest possible bullet velocity values. The other barrels are no good whatsoever. Then the underbarrel, you do want to use the Field Agent foregrip to control the recoil as much as you can. Ammunition, you want to go for the 60 round mags just because it is the largest available. Then lastly, you want to go for the axial arms optic or any other optic you prefer. I've seen people talk about the Microflex, the Susat multi-zoom because it doesn't have much recoil, but you could choose whatever optic you want. Personally, I like the axial arms, and this is by far the best build for the Krig. Now lastly, at number 1, we have the AMAX. Now we all know the AMAX build, so I'll quickly go through that and then we'll talk about it. So these are the attachments. I've talked about the AMAX way too many times on this channel now. So you want to use the mono suppressor, the Zodiac barrel, the VLK optic, the 45 round mags, the Commando foregrip, or you can switch it for the Ranger foregrip. I say this every single time in every single video at this point. The thing with the AMAX is that it feels so good if you can control the recoil on this gun. And that is the main issue with this gun, is the recoil. Some people can't control it, some people can. But if you can beam with this gun, and it does way too much damage in my opinion. So this is definitely going to get a nerf at some point. Raven Software, like I said, have already tweeted out that they're going to nerf this gun. But at the moment, this is the best assault rifle in Warzone, and in my opinion, the best gun in Warzone. But let me know what your favorite gun is down in the comments below, and if we've missed any of your favorites out. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. And click that link in the description and subscribe to our second channel. We've been posting tons of videos on that channel as well. Thank you very much for watching.